Hnatyshyn is concluding his final year with the Bulldogs golf team. And my man is killing it not just on the links, but in the game of life as well. Riley discusses the processes and preparation, his dream of qualifying for a major in the future, and he's dating a former Tech softball star. Hnatyshyn is teed up next on Tech Drive. Hnatyshyn is my guest today, playing Houdini as he's participating in the CUSA championships for golf. No, I'm kidding. You're doing the podcast today. We're kind of breaking down a third wall. We're doing this before you depart with Matt Terry and company for the tournament and Abita Springs native in your fourth year with the golf team. Good to have you on, buddy.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. Looking forward to it.
So in doing this, before your departure, a day before you actually leave for Texarkana, this will be the only question really related to the upcoming CUSA championships and the event, since it will be going on when a lot of people are digesting this podcast. But how excited are you and the guys to get another bite at the apple on what is the biggest stage for your team this year?
Yeah, we're really pumped about this. It means a lot to us to go here this week. It being our last year in Conference USA, so we kind of have that little edge. We want to win. I think we have a really good, solid team coming this week. A lot of young guys, and then we got me being a senior, another senior, who this means a lot to us because it could be our last, but we don't want it to be our last. And so we kind of have that fire, that want to win. And Coach Terry, I know he's the same way. He has that. He's enthusiastic about it, and he's ready to go there and take names. So we're really pumped about it.
Matt Terry says you're one of the best young men he's ever coached. You're huge on loyalty. You're a team guy. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel great. I think I got a lot of that from him because he was always loyal to me in my recruiting process. He always was here to help me no matter what, even if it was with anything outside of golf. He was more of like a family guy to me, more than just a coach. And so to hear that from him, it means a lot.
He is kind of like a father figure in a lot of ways. He'll shoot you straight.
Yeah,
right?
He will.
Like he won't mince words. I got to imagine. I certainly appreciate that, given our proximity and office location. He's my buddy. He's next door to me, and we talk about a number of different things. But even as a player and a coach, that relationship, I got to feel that's different. Maybe different than some of you had experienced in the past. I'm not sure.
Yeah, for sure. It helps out a lot having that, especially when you're out traveling every week. It means a lot just to have that guy who you can go to whenever you want, and I really definitely cherish that.
What's it like beyond that kind of relationship and extra thread that he provides to y'all in terms of trying to help develop you as a man and to shoot you straight, as I talked about? What other things can you share about playing under Matt Terry? Like, what kind of coach is he in terms of your practice sessions or your preparation and even during competition?
Yeah, for sure. I think one thing, he has a lot of knowledge. He's been around this sport for a long time. He's played professionally. He's been areas that a lot of us have wanted to be. And so he definitely has a lot of words of encouragement. He knows drills that we need to do at practice, whether that be pressure drills or just basic drills that we have to do to get better. But then also while we're out there traveling and we're on the course, when we're struggling with like a certain number, he knows what to tell us and when to do it. And so that means a lot to us as a player, and also it frees us up because it gives us the confidence to go out there and know we can succeed to our best.
I feel like, and he has made this comment to me before, so much of his job as a coach, it's less about, like, sure, there's some technical things, right? Mm-hmm. Strategy, but like as a golf coach, it's such a mental game. Like, I'm sure he's just like a psychologist in so many different ways to keep you guys motivated and kind of figure out how to pull which lever to get the most out of you at a given time before a critical shot.
Yeah, for sure. He definitely he knows the psychology side of the game very well. He's really smart, knows what to tell us in the right moment. Even if it's a one-word thing, he just knows what to say, and that definitely means a lot to us.
So is this it for you in terms of your eligibility as a fourth-year guy? I can't keep up with all the things with COVID and that sort of thing. So is it being your fourth year? Is this it?
This is it. I only had 4 years when I came in. No COVID year.
Okay.
No extra year. So, yep.
All right. How much anxiety or stress or nerves are attached to that knowing too you may be competing for the last time, like you said, here this
Yeah.
week in Texarkana.
There's nerves there. I've always told myself if there's no nerves, then you don't care about it. And so I definitely know there's nerves deep down inside me that, but they're good nerves. There's nerves of that I want to win. I want to go there and succeed. I want to show my team how to win and what it means to this program and to this university of coming back with the trophy. I think that means it's very important to us in this university. So I want to do it for them.
Are you going to miss it?
I am 100%. I'm going to miss my team, my coach, this university, everything they've done for me. It's just, it's a blessing that looking back on, I never would have traded for anything. And so it means a lot to me.
What earliest memories do you have about picking up the game of golf?
So I think I was 8 years old when I started. My dad, we moved out to a golf community, and he always his dream was, one son of mine to play golf. And I think one day it just it fell into my hands, and I think it was just a natural talent that God gave me, and it meant a lot to me, and so I just always stuck with it.
How intense was your father? Because look, I think every man's dream is to have a kid that can golf, okay, whether it's a boy or a girl, because look, there's far more opportunity, or those are such more coveted type scholarship positions, and the teams aren't as big, but obviously, the long-term effects of it's a game you play the rest of your life too, so to be able to have some sort of cachet and connection and just some about the game that obviously is conducive for all the obvious reasons that you play forever. So you had the hands for it, you picked up on it, so he must have not been that cutthroat about you becoming a golfer. He just kind of gently encouraged you, and fortunately it clicked.
Yep, for sure, yeah. He definitely just kind of showed me the way, and I definitely just listened to his advice early on, and he surrounded me with a lot of other people and that he's met throughout the game that helped me succeed. And so he was he was a really good father figure to me throughout the game, and never forced anything, just let everything come and knew it was God's plan. So
yeah, well, it's one of those things as you'll miss it, of course, playing competitively and with the team. It's not a game that's going to leave you, as I just said to you. Yeah. This can stick with you the rest of your life, and I'm sure there can be some opportunities where you can make some good coin, little side games or whatever, playing with whomever, the local country club, and casually the game will always be a part of your life, but like I'm sure you can find some tournaments to still like compete in and stuff like after college, right?
yeah, for sure. So I'll start working out at Squire as an assistant golf pro there at the end of the season, and so I'll join the PGA program. It's a 2-year program that you have to go through in order to become a head pro. But throughout that program, they offer tournaments and ways and pathways in order to succeed and still in the game of golf. And so I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'll definitely have the chances to compete, like you said, and also have chances to do other things in the game of golf because it's taught me so much. And so I'd love to give back to the game that taught me so much.
Oh, that's awesome. So you're going to work at Squire, and you're still going to be able to carve out, certain opportunities, continue to play competitively and kind of see where that goes. So it's like the dream doesn't die at all in terms of wanting to be able to compete at the highest of levels. Like you're going to have those pathways.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah. How cool is Squire and having access to Squire
awesome.
Creek?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's it's the number one course in the state every single year. The Davisons did a great job designing it. Everything they've do for us out there is really nice. We're treated like royalty. I don't know how many teams in the country get to be treated that way. So it means a lot to us. But it's a really special place. It's really good to us.
Well, talking about your terms or your plans after golf, you've already graduated, and that was after the winter quarter,
correct?
Right?
Yeah.
Like early March. What was your field of study? What was your degree in?
So I studied finance here, graduated in it, toyed with possibly getting an MBA, but just loved the game too much and never wanted to get out of it. So
MBA, it keeps coming up. I think that's what I need to do. Maybe we can like do that together at like a separate time in life. You mentioned giving back to like the community and working at the country club in Squire, and why is that so important to you for a game that has given you so much to this point and certainly isn't finished, for you to be able to kind of reciprocate that to whether it's youths or even middle-aged men, whoever might need help, with the game of golf?
I I think it just means a lot to me. From Ruston, from a standpoint of Ruston, Ruston have gave so much to me. They gave me a second home, a place that I can go out and do stuff that I love. Squire has given me, I think Squire to me almost feels like another home golf course. And so that means a lot to me. But my dream has always been to want to help others in the game and grow the game of golf. It teaches a lot of stuff to just young kids or, like you said, middle-aged men. And so I think it's a game that needs to be spread out to the world. And I've always dreamed of doing that. And I know this is a good pathway to do that.
Well, and I've talked with you enough, and even just talking with you here now, I haven't talked with you as much as I would like. I mean, we both have busy lives. You're competing, and when I see you, coming into the swing room or talking with Terry, I'm busy working or what have you. But like your temperament, your maturity, your ability to, formulate your thoughts in a positive way. I know that's going to be felt, by whomever it is you connect with, and certainly you have a bright future ahead of you, just based on the polish that you have already as what, 22-year-old? Like
21, yeah.
21, yeah. It's awesome, and to get your degree this past winter quarter, I'm sure that kind of relieved a little bit, on you, because you went out and had a top 5 finish right after, had the Louisiana Classics. By the way, this guy, CUSA commissioner's honor roll every single year, so he is a smart dude. Top 5 finish in Lafayette. You fired a 7 under. And this was just days removed from you getting your degree. So, did you feel like some less stress, less pressure? Like, what was working for you that week?
Yeah, for sure. I think it was such a, like you said earlier, like just a positive, like the momentum we had going there. I had just like a lot of positivity, I think, with graduating and, a lot of support around me. And I had a lot of support at that turn. My family was there, and the team was like, they're high-fiving me, telling me, how cool of a week it is. It's your first term right after graduating and all that. And then I also think, not having to do schoolwork that week kind of helped too. I think it, just going there, and the only thought on my mind was play golf, play to the best of my ability, and let's see what happens. And so it was definitely a cool week.
Yeah, I feel like you can attack the course more freely. I wish I knew what that meant, because, I'm just out there and just praying every time I swing the club. There's no real plan. But like for you, to go through graduation, I would imagine that opened things up a little bit for you. Was it weird then, like we're talking in the mid to end of April, like the last 5-6 weeks, like not having really school to worry about and you're just golfing?
Yeah, it's kind of been a little weird. Like, it's funny, my teammates asked me, they're like, do you wake up at all like stressed about schoolwork, or like, do you ever think about, did I turn in the essay? And I'm like, these last 5 weeks, no. It's like I wake up and it's like, I'm either going to go work out and train my body that way, or I'm going to go to the course. So it's definitely been stress-free. It's helped out a lot in golf, just knowing that I go out there, I don't have anything on my mind except the game. And so it's meant a lot to me.
Yeah, that's a great segue, because I'd love to talk about like routine and preparation a little bit more. Let's talk about before a match or a tournament, maybe like the day of, like take me through your routine. So put yourself next week in Texarkana. You wake up, you're about to compete, whether it's match play, group play, whatever the format is. How do you go about getting in the zone, if you will, before you compete?
Yeah. So typically we'll wake up about 2.5 hours early before the round. Go get breakfast somewhere. Just get your body moving. What we fuel our body with that week is very important. Drinking plenty of water, eating the right stuff before a round. That's going to give you the energy for that day. Then before the round, I'll go stretch, or I'll go get warmed up. And typically I won't do anything with weights. It's all kind of like just free body stuff. And then I'll go to the range typically about an hour before, and I'll start on the range, warming up with wedges, and then make my way up through the bag, and then go do some putting drills. And then just like right for the round, just kind of do a little quick mental check, make sure I got all my notes down for the day. I got the wind, the weather. And then from there, it's just you kind of get into tournament mode, and you just get ready, and then you pretty much for 5.5 hours, you're just locked in. So
we need to talk more about the food. I feel like this is the good stuff, like what people can relate to. When you say you've got to pay attention to what you're consuming throughout the week, I mean, it may seem obvious, but I would guess like you're not eating a bunch of greasy stuff, right? Like there's another element here that I want to pull on in a moment too, and that's walking, because these guys aren't using carts. Like I walked 18, I didn't even make it to 18. I had somewhere else to be, but I walked like 14 at Arcadia nearby, and like I was dying, and I just can't imagine that aspect. But knowing that and knowing the physical exertion, that is necessary or that is, needed from you throughout an entire week. What is it that you're eating and what is it that you're staying away from, and how do you stay hydrated or replenished throughout a round?
Yeah, so typically like breakfast wise, you're eating a lot of eggs, healthy carbs. So like typically like a sourdough toast if they have that. If not, just some form of like a lighter carb. You also get in some form of like I prefer to do like a yogurt before the round. Get some sugar in me just to kind of boost my brain that day and my body. And then during the round, you just typically eat you're eating some form of a sandwich. Whether a coach will make either like a peanut butter honey, or sometimes they'll give you like a turkey cheese. And then depending on the tournament, it's usually about like 6 to 7 protein bars throughout a round.
Wow.
So that's definitely a lot. It's probably about 8 bottles of water, and then probably like 2 bottles of like electrolyte formula. So
Okay.
we're definitely consuming a lot. And then the leading up to the week, it's like you said, very healthy stuff. Kind of blandish food, I guess you could say. You're not really trying to put a lot of weird stuff in your body that week.
Right.
But definitely drinking a lot of water before you start. You want to go there already hydrated. You don't want to go there dehydrated. So helps out when we're walking.
God, the 7 protein bars potentially,
Yeah.
5, 6, or 7. I mean, I try to limit myself at like 2 a day, 2 different kinds, whether it's something as small as like a Nature Valley or granola or whatever, with a little bit of protein, to something a little bit more extravagant. Gosh, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Carrying that bag, I mean, your body, I'm sure, has become somewhat accustomed to it. I mean, you train and condition yourself and fuel appropriately, but that's no joke, having to walk all these different courses, right?
No, not at all. Especially on some of the days when we have to walk 36. You're out there for, like last week over at Mississippi State, we're out there for 13 hours straight. So you kind of just have to get into an own little bubble that day and see what you got.
Holy moly. Is there anything like unique or weird you might do away from the course in the week build up, or a couple of days before a tournament to like help clear your mind from a psychological standpoint? Like, do you read? Do you meditate? Is there yoga? Like we said earlier, golf is such a mental game. So I'm just curious, is there anything unique that you might be able to share about like what you do to get your mind in the right place?
Yeah, for sure. I do a lot of like ways to calm myself. I try not to put a lot of load on me before the week. So like my practice before that week is typically going to be like a lighter practice. It's not going to be going out there and doing a lot, because I don't want to go into the tournament having a lot of thoughts in my mind. I want to try to go in there very limited. So then when I get to the course, I can just free up and play, and I don't have to think about anything. I do on the course, I'll do a couple breathing techniques. Just to help me calm me down with my nerves if I ever feel my heart rate going up. I was fortunate to learn that from a good psychologist friend of mine who taught me that. And so definitely think that's very important when you're out there on a course, especially on those 13-hour days. You're going to have moments that your heart rate's going to spike up or go really low. So you have to kind of judge that and know when to use those different techniques.
Who's a bigger deal at home, you or Alexis Giglio?
Yeah.
Who is handling the ESPN Plus softball broadcast, and she was a stud here. I mean, she was 2024, I want to say first team. She was second team All CUSA just last year. First year not competing, but you two have been together, girlfriend and boyfriend, almost a couple years, I think, or so. So, who's a bigger deal athletically? Like, do y'all brag on each other at all? I mean, you're still competing.
Yeah, I'll give it to her. She definitely is a bigger athlete. She played multiple sports growing up, and myself only really played golf. And then getting to watch her here, I mean, watch her rob a lot of home runs, and some of the plays she made in the outfield, I was kind of like, oh yeah, I think she's got me in that department. So I'll definitely give that to her.
Well, you've gone on Tech Drive and she hasn't. Not that I've asked her or Cal Kavanaugh, but you can hold that over her head at least for now. If it ever comes to you got to throw some bows or something. But she had a 383 batting average during that second team selection just last year. So yeah, she's been part of the ESPN Plus softball broadcast, providing analysis with Malcolm Butler. She started her career at BYU.
Yep.
And then came to Tech ahead of 2024, her junior season. How was it that y'all meet? Just or met, just being athletes here at Tech and just bumped
Yeah.
into each other?
Yeah, just being athletes, we had the same academic supervisor, and so I would have to go in there and meet with him about a couple of things, and she would as well. And so kind of we met each other through that, and then just started hanging out. And I would go to a couple of their games and all that. So that's kind of how it all started.
Does she come out ever, this is away from the team, like let's say you're playing golf, does she come and hop in the cart, and does she swing a club? Do y'all play, like,
Yeah,
how does that work?
yeah, she'll come out a couple times. She's actually really good at golf,
Of course.
yeah, it didn't really surprise me after
Yeah.
seeing her swing a bat, but it's pretty cool because she's righty with golf but lefty with softball. So that's another way. Just shows how athletic she is. So yeah,
So she has a much better time hitting a golf ball than you would swinging a bat?
for sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right. When you are, maybe when you're out golfing with other friends away from the team, like I'm thinking of boys' trips, and I'm wondering how somebody who competes in college views such a thing. Like, does that even exist where you might like go out for a weekend and meet the guys, and maybe you have a scheduled tournament? Are you even invited to those sorts of things because, you know, you compete yourself? But I can't imagine like those experiences would be the same for you as they would for me. So tell me about like your quote unquote recreational golf background, and how much you might tap into that with other friends.
Yeah, during the summer we kind of it's a lot more recreational.
Yeah.
You know, we try not to play as many tournaments. It's more about, you know, just having fun with the game, going back, almost like feeling like a kid again. That's really important to a golfer, just to have those moments. It teaches you a lot about the game and a lot about yourself. And so I'll try to do that a lot. Even during the season, you know, sometimes like on a weekend, if Coach Terry's like, "Hey, look, I'm gonna give you an off day," we're all just like, we'll try to meet up and be like, "Hey, guys, let's go play and just have fun. Like, let's go
Okay.
experience something new." And I definitely love doing that.
Yeah, I think of all the extracurricular activities that I might be trying to involve into my golf round. So it's probably not, you know, I'd be a bad influence for you, for sure. But it's funny with my older age, yes, my getting older age that I'm still trying to accept, I do find myself playing better when I'm just out there swinging the club all alone, no music, you know, because again, I like to play music, I like to have, you know, beverages, whatever. But I've noticed now it's like, man, when I lock in, like I can actually be decent. Now I might have more fun, but then there's another side of the coin too when I'm around in a bigger group where, you know, if my game is really falling off, then I'm just like miserable. So, you know, you're trying to weigh what's better. These are the internal demons that I deal with as a recreational golfer. So you don't listen to music on the course, do you?
Recreational wise, yes.
Okay.
But tournament wise, no.
Right. Okay. When by the way, we got to talk about Penn's. I don't know if you've been to Penn's downtown. They've celebrated, I want to say it was like 17 years just this past week. We had Sadie on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. But if you need all these uniquely designed licensed merch for Lady Texter support, for Bulldog support, you can rep the golf team as well. Tons of Louisiana Tech apparel. It's at Patton's downtown in North Louisiana tradition. Since 2007, you have Patton's Western Wear 2, which is going to offer up styles and brands for your everyday life, the job, the game days, any occasion, especially the outdoorsman in you. So make sure you go to Patton's Western Wear or Patton's downtown. Golf team gets some pretty sick swag. You're wearing a nice polo right there.
Yeah.
I know Matt Terry takes care of y'all.
He does. He definitely does. And Squire definitely helps out with that. Coach has made a lot of good connections throughout his time being here, and we're very fortunate.
Your older brother played football at Indiana Wesleyan. From what I understand, he's still up there now, working. Did football ever factor into your upbringing and prep career? You weren't cut out for it? You didn't try? Like, I know you were destined for golf in many ways.
Yeah, I think I just wasn't cut out for it. You know, growing up, my brother, he's 6'5". He was always a big kid. And I think seeing his size and then seeing my size, I was like, I just don't think the sport was ever meant for me.
Yeah.
And so I definitely never gave it the chance or the time of day. So.
Yeah, he's bigger dude. Was he offensive lineman?
He was offensive tackle,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so like he was doing some ministry stuff up still in Indiana. What's he up to now, most recently?
So he just recently got a new job, actually at the university. He's head of all donations and all donations that's come into this school. So he handles all the relationships, the stuff that comes with it. So very fortunate that he got that and was very excited for him.
So from Abita Springs, you went to St. Paul's School, St. Paul's School in Covington. 5-year letter winner. So you started when you were in 8th grade?
Yes, I was able to start in 8th grade.
This guy's like a prodigy. I mean, that's amazing. Take me through that process of like the decision, and obviously, I'm sure your family was on board with it, but like that's different. Like you got to be worried a little bit too, right? Of I would think if it was my child, of putting them amongst all the high schoolers and hoping things would go well from a confidence standpoint.
Yeah, for sure. I think, looking back at it, St. Paul's it was such a good high school at the time. They had a really good athletic program. And so I think it was a way I can challenge myself in order to be better. And so I think that's the risk that I took and my parents took, to send me to that school. And it ultimately paid off. I was able to meet a lot of people there who helped me be better throughout my whole career. And so I'm very thankful for it.
Take us through the recruitment process and deciding to come to Tech. And just a couple more of your credentials. 2021 Division I 5A state title team you were part of, most improved player in 18, rookie of the year in 17. So, you were, I don't throw around prodigy lightly. I mean, you were kind of a big deal coming up in the state. So landing on Louisiana Tech, how did that happen?
I think so. Sophomore year, I had a really good year. And then my summer of junior year, Coach Terry followed me a lot. And that really spoke to me because other coaches weren't doing that at the time. And so I noticed that, and I was like, if he's willing to give me that much time, the time that I'm going to be willing to give him back is going to be even more. And so it was kind of, when he offered me, it was a pretty quick response of, Coach, I'm ready. And looking back on it, there's nothing I would do any different. So I'm very fortunate that he gave me that opportunity. And I look back on it every day and just so thankful for it.
Oh, that's a great lesson in life, really. What others are willing to put into you, how can you provide and give back and reciprocate that? But like the relationship building and seeing somebody's interest in you from a recruiting standpoint and all the time that they're putting in, and it paid off obviously for Matt Terry and getting you here, but also I think for you at the same time. But for you to acknowledge that sort of thing, like those are the type of things in relationship building and in life. I'm glad it could still make an impact. We've talked a little bit about your personal goals. I don't know if there's anything else more you want to share in terms of you starting at Squire and how you might still have certain access and paths to continue to compete at a high level, and we'll see where that goes. But like, are there any long-term things that really are top of mind for you that you want to achieve here? Again, you got your whole life ahead of you, man.
Yeah, for sure. I think, as I continue to make my path along the game of golf and eventually become a head pro, I think one day I would love to be a GM of a club, eventually use my finance degree that I got from here.
Yeah.
And so that's definitely a huge goal for me. And then also throughout the PGA program, like, pathway to different tournaments. There's one pathway you can try to qualify for the PGA Championship, which is a major in golf. So I think that's going to be always in the back of my mind. That's a goal of mine that I think would be really special to achieve one day. Other than that, I think, just achieving life, I guess, having a family and all that and getting married one day, I think those are all just special goals to me that I would love to achieve one day.
That's awesome. No, and yeah, potentially qualifying for a PGA major championship, no big deal. That's pretty good. Hey, shoot for the stars, man. Like that's great. And certainly you're killing the game of life so far. You got a beautiful girlfriend, former Tech athlete, still here, has a presence. Like you're on your way, man. Like your rocket ship is still ascending. Are there any final minute or two here with you, Riley? Are there any hobbies or other interests? Maybe people would be surprised to learn about you. I mean, those consuming this podcast only know as much as what you've given us here today. But what's maybe a fact or two about things you like to do away from golf that you feel are pretty interesting?
Yeah, I think one thing that I shock a lot of people with is I'm a really big hockey guy, and then also I'm a really big soccer guy, or as some of my roommates call it, as football.
Mm-hmm.
I love those sports. And being from Louisiana, people are like, really? Like, why would you like those sports? You're from the South of United States of America. So definitely I'm a huge Colorado Avalanche guy, thanks to Alexis, with her being from over there. Finally got a team to root for. and they're having a great year currently in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So really looking forward to that. So
I think I saw in her bio she's got a little bit of Illinois ties to her because I think her
yeah.
dad played at Eastern Illinois.
Yeah, and then she was actually born in Chicago, so
Okay.
but both of her parents are from that area.
Yeah, you got to ask her what hospital she was born at.
I will.
All
Yeah.
right, Northwestern Memorial Hospital downtown. But okay, awesome. Yeah, the hockey thing. Who's your hockey team?
The Avalanche.
The Avalanche,
Yeah.
because of her. Okay.
Mhm.
And then you bring up some of the foreign dudes on the team. Like, what is it? Abel's from Finland.
Abel's from Netherlands.
Netherlands.
And then, we got Ascari from Finland, Morton's from England, and then Alejandro's from Mexico.
Yeah. So what's that like? Like, let's end there. Like working alongside in the game of golf, as part of a team, the cultures and dealing with the different personalities and the backgrounds of where these guys can come from. Like, describe that.
Yeah, it's actually really cool because all four of them have their own unique ways. The Europeans definitely favor more to each other. They all kind of do this stuff very similar, but the way they conduct themselves throughout life and the drive they have towards things they love, especially Alejandro. I always mess with him. He cares so much about everything. He's very big about wanting to win. He probably is one of the hardest workers I've ever met. And it's really cool seeing him like that. And I know he's learned that throughout his whole life from the people he's had in his life and, his ancestry. So it's really cool seeing all these different cultures. And then when we all mingle together as a team, I think that's really cool because we all bring what we each other have to obviously to Coach Terry and to this team. And so it's really cool to see that.
Riley, it's been awesome, man. Appreciate you sharing your story, talking about your teammates, your home life, your dreams, all of it, man. It's awesome. You're mashing the ball off the tee. You are hitting fairways in life. You are getting greens in regulation. You're doing it all, man. Continue the momentum, and I know we're all pulling for you, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That's Riley Hnatyshyn here on Tech Drive. I appreciate Carson pulling all the levers today, Jack GB, Kavanaugh as well. We'll be back with Tech Drive next week. I'm the voice of the Bulldogs, Kyle Schasberger. Take care, everyone.